It is Wednesday, the 17th of September, 2025. This is not going to be a long video. I just wanted to give an update from Mike Glover, his Monday SITREPS situation report, because I do agree with a lot of what he's saying in this, because I don't believe that this was done. I'm talking about Charlie Kirk and his murderer, Tyler Robinson. There was absolutely conversations he must have been having on different platforms that went from public to private messaging and then communication. There had to have been that, and that's something that I do agree with his assessment on. Spoiler alert. And for a lot of the same reasons. So I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but I will with you.
Welcome.
So this is his Patreon, and so I just subscribed to his Patreon, and so I'm doing this not to take his content, but it's to promote him, if that makes any sense. And so this is one of his videos of many on Patreon, and so I'm going to take a look at a lot of his work, and I'm just recommending that you do as well, and I will link this to get you onto his page. So anyway.
Monday Sit Rep, welcome. Well, I thought we were done talking about Kirk, but we're not, and I won't stop talking about it. I did a Sunday preaching the choir where I talked how we can move forward as a nation, but I just got recent pieces of information from several people saying the FBI is blocking out any interagency intelligence organizations from further investigating foreign adversary or foreign involvement in the Kirk assassination. Is that not a possibility? We're sitting here talking about one of the most successful political assassinations in American history, and we're not even willing to entertain that? Well, Mike, who could it be? I'm not saying it's an AQ dude flying in from Afghanistan first class and taking this dude to the local gun range. But what I'm saying is you have a 22-year-old coming from a conservative family, and if you want me to believe that because of his boyfriend, he decided to plan, rehearse, and execute one of the most successful assassinations in American history. Flawlessly, by the way. But Mike, it's easy for somebody to take a 200-yard shot. Yeah, on a flat range, on a sunny day with no pressure or stress. I teach civilians, and when I do stress shoots with 5 minutes of calisthenics, everybody falls apart because their heart rate's elevated. I'm trying to replicate the same things that would happen in a gunfight, even for conditioned and trained experts, technical experts. Because your technical expertise has nothing to do, I mean, it has a lot to do, but what I mean is it's not validated, vetted, without inoculating stress. So this dude just decides to get up on a building randomly and take a shot and then is successful at every parameter of it. Sure, he made mistakes. But what I mean is...
They did find targets in his home. And he does come from a family that had guns throughout his childhood. And so this is where like a lot of proficiency comes from as well. So he not only did he have a background, but he also, he was out and he was training. So who was he training with? Who was he going with? So many questions. But I do agree with him because there are people that use this. These are war tactics, or people that even work with or fund government, right? Like these foundations, including the George Soros ones. But anyway, where they have people intentionally radicalizing people on these dark websites or these video game sites or Discords or etc. And these people are doing this intentionally to make people take the bait, like the intent they want for the audience they want targeted. And yeah, so he's bang on with a lot of that stuff. I do agree. Like honeypots. There's so many groups.
Is it more possible that that's the truth, or that a foreign adversary in a Discord, Reddit, name the thread, potentially built rapport with this guy, segued a conversation in private, and then motivated him to do it, inspired him to do it? AQ's magazine for propaganda and influence is called Inspire. They know the game. They know basic psychology. So it's more likely that's the case. It's more likely that a foreign adversary, even, and I'll say it, Israel, it won't be very popular, but I'll say it. Recently, Kirk talked about how he was called anti-Semitic for his beliefs. And his beliefs are aligned with Israel, except he expresses that Americans are just tired of war, tired of the killing. And that's a real common position in this country. If you're trying to shut down that voice, then that's something that would happen. And look, there are a bunch of potential courses of action. What I'm not accepting that we're going to take this situation, wrap it, put a bow on it, and say, yeah, everything's good to go. We got the guy.
No.
No, there's a lot more to talk about. This is exactly what happened with Lee Harvey Oswald when we wanted a scapegoat. We wanted a person to point our finger at. We need a deep dive on this because this isn't the first time. We've had several school, Catholic, institutional shooters that have followed the same game plan. And I'm not buying into it. On top of the cartel, the criminal issues, all the things that we're contending with, this is a significant turning point in American history. And if we let this slide because Patel wants to get on his platform and say, the FBI is the most transparent it's ever been. And yeah, you are. But I don't want you to just win. I want you to get to the bottom of what's happening.
Yeah.
Cox comes out and he says, this guy who's the boyfriend who's transitioning from man to woman, he said, which is impossible, by the way. I didn't articulate this on my podcast because I get suppressed. Impossible. He transitioned from a man to a man with no penis, which isn't a woman. Just so we make that clear, Governor Cox. So aggravating. How could you just make a mistake like that? Is that the church's position? Is that your moral position? If so, the people of Utah need to have a conversation. He says he's cooperating. The boyfriend is cooperating. Good for him. You know what we found out this morning from Patel? Is that same cooperative witness also admitted to ripping up a letter that included him acknowledging that he was going to kill Charlie Kirk. I'm sure it had to do with their relationship. And this guy rips it up and then likely confesses under pressure. That's not a witness. That's an alleged accomplice.
Exactly.
I'm not convinced that he didn't have more to do with it. Sure, ideological motivations, but let's take that aside from the foreign adversary component. It wouldn't take a lot of investment of energy and resources and time to convince an impressionable young man who seems to have all the brain smarts, likely on the spectrum, to be honest, and convince him to do something like this. But also walk him through the process. Like, here's the rifle. Here's the way you do it. He didn't do this cold. He did a recon for sure. He had to case the place. He had to understand exactly where to be, how to get up there, how to escape. And you don't just wing tradecraft. You get taught it. If you do an operation like this, it means you recceed it. You did a recon.
Yeah.
It means you did a rehearsal. It means you did a plan. It means you had other people involved that helped you with that plan. And that's my point. We are in a deeper, darker time in our history than ever before. And one thing we can't do is just go, yeah, Kirk's killer is caught and captured. Let's move on. And then the next thing happens. This could be completely connected to a network of adversaries recruiting people. Again, I'm not saying they're traveling here. They're not doing dead drops. They literally are likely going into Discord chats and impressionable young minds, infiltrating their minds to get them to do whatever they want.
Reddit.
And it's effective. It happened in the Memphis shooter that was trans. It happened with the Butler, Pennsylvania assassin that tried to kill Trump. I mean, I can go on and on and on. We can't let this die on the vine. We can't assume that everything the government tells us is the truth. I just got a piece of information that this round, this 30-06 round, the projectile wasn't found. Now, I'm tracking it down. I'm not going to get you all spun up because I'm not spun up on it. It was a hunting round, which I pulled hunting rounds out of game. I actually pulled hunting rounds or different types of rounds out of bad guys during sensitive site exploitation as part of our terminal ballistics evaluation of what the rounds were doing. I'm not new to that. You would find trace amounts of those rounds. I'll be breaking that on Substack on my Dead Drop Intel. I'm going to link Dead Drop Intel down below, the Substack. You need to follow it. It's free, where I have Sarah Adams, Khalid Muhammad, Jane Doe from Sean Ryan Podcast, Ryan, who's a former agency guy and State Department guy. Follow that, because that's where we'll be dropping all the information. I'll also put the X that I just came up with about 500 followers. I'm not giving up on this. I'm not going to accept that Lee Harvey Oswald is the scapegoat. There's more to this picture. What do you guys think? Give me your feedback down below. Thanks, guys. Happy Monday.
All right. On that note, I will leave it at that. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.